Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to NFT Art Talk Live. You know, we're here Monday through Friday, daily, hanging out with cool people as frequently as we can. We're so excited today, so excited to have everybody here. You know, as we've mentioned before, and as you've seen before, every once in a while, we like to bring new friends or friends, basically the artists that inspire us, ideally ones that we've had featured on the show, come and talk to us, tell us about their story, where they're coming from, what inspires them. And we are so blessed today. So I'm gonna do some quick YouTube housekeeping, get ourselves started, let some people jump in the room. I know Karthik's tweeting it out. We're trying to get this thing out here. Welcome, you guys. And then I'm gonna introduce everybody on the screen. So you know what we're here to do. We're here to experience the NFT art scene in a new way with new people and new faces. We're here to talk about art, music, fashion, animation, digital design, poetry, whatever it is that's out there that's inspiring us and inspiring you. And always create this community of acceptance and celebration. We're here for all to come and experience together and to celebrate each other. That's what it's time for. You know it because it's NFT Art Talk Live time. So while you're here, don't forget, like and subscribe below. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're live. Don't wait for us to tell you. Then, after you're done doing that, we want you to follow all three people that you see right here on Twitter. All the links are in the description below. Then, after this interview, we want you to go like and retweet the pinned post. Then we want you to shoot a DM and be like, yo, that interview was so tight. And that's what you have to do today. That's what we're asking of you today, because we, on the screen today, have been jiving and preparing and getting excited about this. So when you're watching this, follow us on Twitter, engage with us. We're here, we're artists, we want to share our art. All right, enough of that. Let's dive in. You know me, I'm Moshe, aka DJ Fetus. This is Karthik NFT in all the places and spaces. And this is Jenny Jiang. Welcome.
Hi.
What is up? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited to have you here. You know, I know like I said, we featured your art. I can't wait to dive into the art. Karthik, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great. It's pretty great weather down here in Austin. I'm so happy to be hanging out with some badass artists today, especially talk to Jenny about how her creation is and just what she's about. You know, I always love these artist interviews, so just really happy about that. And I'm really happy you came on the show, actually.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so let's dive in. Karthik, lead us down. Kick us off with our first, let's start with the interview, and then we'll dive into the, you know, more of your art and kind of what you're doing online. Cool. and all of that sort of stuff.
So yeah, Jenny, I guess what inspires you to do art, or how did you start doing art? Like at the beginning, maybe an earlier part of your life, or even now? Just tell us kind of a brief intro about how you got into it.
Yeah, so I'm actually from New Zealand, and right now I'm based in New York. And I think my whole life, I've just always been into design, more design than art, actually. So ever since I was little, I was very much interested in creating graphics that communicated either a story or did something that told aspects of like surrealism, joy, and communicated emotion. And then 5 years ago, I applied to come to New York to go to design school. And while in design school, I was actually exposed to a lot of aspects that are more involved with art. So sculptures, paintings, figure drawings, sketchings. And that's when I would say I actually made the transition between design and more into like an artistic route. I especially loved creating 3D graphics, which is very untraditional, especially 5 years ago. But I love that with digital art, you could bring together music, these like visual effects really easily, and collaborate with other digital artists as well. So throughout college, I became very much into 3D art, started sharing a lot of my work online. And since I graduated, I had the opportunity to purely work in 3D, whether it's for like commercial works, animations for product launches, advertisements, exhibitions, or recently more into the NFT space. Participating in drops on Nifty Gateway, Foundation Super Rare, and yeah, I think that's how I pretty much got into all of this.
So do you, I know you said you design for companies or promo work like that and the
Mm-hmm.
artwork. Is there a different vibe between the two when you create, or one you like more, or what are the benefits you see out of both of those processes, I guess?
For sure, for sure. So for commercial work, it's more creating with a brief in mind. There's more, I think, commercial capitalist intention behind it, whether it's to like showcase a product for consumers to buy. And that's really the difference between, for me, between commercial work and actual my artwork. My artwork is more like things that I want to create without having that end goal in mind. It's more like, what I'm feeling emotionally, I want to express through this medium. But yeah, I love both. I don't think I have one that I like more because with commercial work, I love collaborating with the clients and with people to create something together that has this end goal. Um, and because sometimes I feel like with my art, it can be a little bit lonely because it is just me making things, which has its advantages, disadvantages. But yeah, I love both, and I'm really happy that I'm doing both.
Do you kind of divvy up your time 50-50 between the both, or are you leaning one way or the other right now,
Um,
as of right now?
so right now, it's I think in general it's hard to like find a complete 50-50 balance. Sometimes work will be a lot and then you won't really have time to focus on artwork. So it really depends. At the moment, I am leaning towards just doing commercial work because work has just been really busy at this time of the year. But when it dies down, then definitely artwork. And I always try just at the end of the day to have some time on doing, what I love and my passion. So yeah.
I had a quick question. So I was wondering, when you're doing like the corporate work, more corporate work, which I know we'll dive into and see some of it here in a little bit, and then versus like maybe something that's more for you or like your art, do you find
Mm-hmm.
yourself like kind of getting lost in one or the other? Like I know when I'm creating music, it's like because I've recently had a couple like commissions, right, for tracks,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like when it's kind of like I'm plugging into almost there's like a similarity but something different, if that makes sense. Like when it's like
Mm-hmm.
somebody's like saying like, oh, I want this is what I want, this and this, versus me like
Mm-hmm.
going to the canvas like, what am I going to do next, who knows.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then like I want them both. I mean, do you find anything like, what do you think, like, are you able to connect into that same kind of creative energy, I guess?
For sure. I mean, I feel like a lot of my clients, when they find me, they like my style, whether they see it through my portfolio or my social media. So a lot of the times I approach this work in a way where I'm very passionate about the projects that I'm creating, and um, I can, and not all of the time, but most of the time, I do feel like I have a lot of the say in where this project is going, which, yeah, I think is really good. But there's also definitely be times where you want to take it another direction, but the client just wants, you know, this, so you have to deliver that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I feel like when I get the opportunity to create for myself,
Mhm.
I kind of have like it's almost like a different type of inspiration, but I have found that as I've like matured in my career, right? I'm able to like pull on my same kind of inspirations but with some like with other people's input, if you will. And that's the way I try to approach like the more of the like job art,
Yeah,
right? You know,
exactly.
like or design
Yeah.
probably in your case, but
Yeah, and I really love that because it's nice that you're creating art, but there's also people to like critique it and then give you ideas on how to make it better as well.
yeah, it's that collaboration, you know, like I
Hmm.
think when you get like I love that you mentioned that too a moment ago. It's like, you know, the opportunity to collaborate with other people, whether it's like, oh, this musician or even just somebody else's perspective through, like you said, criticism. I do believe that that's the only way. I mean, 10,000 hours, right? Get your 10,000
Yeah,
hours in to become an expert, but also like learn how to collaborate and so that you can always be learning and growing, you know? So
for
I want
sure,
to
for
give
sure.
kudos to you. Like, I mean, it's pretty obvious and evident when you see, I mean, your art is absolutely, it's outstanding. It's, you know, it looks great. It feels great. It does feel, it's kind of cool to hear you say like, you're trying to tie together all these different pieces of the story,
Hmm.
you know, because like I think when we first saw your art, that was our initial reaction to it. You know, it's like, oh, this is much deeper than just like pretty moving objects. You
Right.
know what I
Thank
mean?
you.
Like,
Yeah.
and so is there like how do you inspire your creativity? Like, it sounds like you're constantly doing art. Like, what do you do? Is it like you know, like I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it there and let you go. If you need some examples, I'll tell you. But
I mean, I think, as I said, like when I was young, I loved just like making things, whether it's, painting something, doing like a little animation. I feel like that's when I'm almost like most satisfied or like happiest with myself. Because I feel like for art and creativity, it gives me such a like internal joy and pleasure. um and it feels like, and sometimes I feel like if I don't like make something for a while, then I have like this nagging feeling that's like, oh, like I should be like making something or like doing something. So yeah, and like also I think the sharing aspect of it, I can post it on Instagram, on social media, see what other people think, is also really fun. So yeah, that's I think how I
just
keep.
you just remind
Yeah.
yourself like I'm doing this for the community. I'm doing this
Hmm.
to be inspired myself. You know, I think like, you know, just while we're all sharing and to keep this at, you know, an open space, you know, like, you know, I've noticed for me it's like sometimes when I'm like in a bit of a block, I just need to like get up and go outside, you know, and
Yeah.
like take a deep breath, walk around, or like go do something where I can like soak in other people's energy and kind of like, you know, just like be inspired by what's around me to like, even if it's not like, oh yeah, I'm going to like create something about my walk, but it's just like, you know, just be like soak it in, you know, be a vessel, if you will.
For
I
sure.
totally agree with that. I know exactly what you're talking about, like how you need to create, because like I feel like you get all these emotions built up in you, right? Depending on what you're interacting with in life, and if you don't release that in some way, it kind of just builds up inside of you. And
Hmm.
being an artist, you're fortunate enough to express it in that light. So I totally understand what you're saying with that. With your works, do you have like visions of them before you create them, or is it kind of like a process you created and then things are flowing through within
Sometimes I feel like that's always a hard question because it's like there's no set way on approaching like art or how to create. Like sometimes I would have like this vision and I'll be like, oh my god, like I have to create this, like sketch it down while I'm cooking.
you?
And then other days I'll just like sit there for literally like 3 hours not knowing what to do. um so it changes a lot, but I realized that for me, what works really well is just beginning, just like making anything and then seeing where that takes you. And also having like setting an intention behind the piece. What is this going to be for, or what I want to showcase, or what I want to learn through making this has been really helpful for me.
That's a great observation.
Yeah. And it's very, like Karthik said, I feel like it's very, I can really relate to what you're saying, like both as an artist and like a professional artist, you know, and creator. So, wow. See, we were all meant to be here together. I knew it. With, you know, I think we should dive into some of the stuff that, like, your art and what you're doing and what's going on. I want to say what's up to anybody that's out there watching with us right now. I've been like kind of like tweeting and texting and frantic, so I'm back in the chat. So if you're out there and you got any questions, let us know. And also I want to remind everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe the video and hit that notification bell so you know when we're live. And don't forget to follow Jenny, so like so that you can like everything. And a reminder too, before we dive in, or I guess I can do it as we dive in here, all the links that you're about to see on your screen, if you're watching us, are you can see them in the description below, so you can just like literally click anytime you want to go get right to the page or whatever we're talking about with Jenny here. But this was kind of one of our initial ways that we actually, I think, met you, so it's appropriate to start with Instagram. But yeah, we're gonna dive into your art in a moment, but we just want to remind you, like, Jenny is everywhere. If you want to talk about IG and what you're doing here, you're more than welcome to, or I can just like keep it rolling to get to the art, but it's up to you.
Oh, I don't mind. This is my Instagram. I feel like I first started posting a lot of my work on Instagram, so that's where people usually find me. It's both a mix of commercial work and my own artwork. And I would say, this is probably the most up to date in terms of work.
Yeah, and just in case, like, if you're watching at home and you didn't know how to follow someone on Instagram, that's how you do it right there. Like, we always, because we're logged into like our NFT art account for all of these, so we always like to save it just in case people need to remember how to do it. And you know, it's also like really easy to like click on videos and like things, but we'll show you. We've showed people how to do that plenty on this show. And then you can get to your link tree, which looks like it has a lot of the stuff. I know we're going to dive into your portfolio and some of your NFTs and your Twitch here in a moment. I think that's Art Streams, right? The Twitch.
Yes.
Okay. But we did just want to remind anybody watching at home, easy to get there. You can just go to our link tree. Also, I'll make sure to add the link tree. I don't think I added that. But so, let's talk about your portfolio and look at some art, because that's what we love doing here on this show. Is there anyone in particular that we should pull up, or you want us just to like pull up our favorites, or how?
I don't mind. You can.
You go first, then we go. You go.
Okay.
Then we go.
I would love to show the Baccarat project. Maybe the first one. Yeah. So this one was basically Baccarat commissioned me to create a series of artworks and animations that are going to be wrapped around their whole entire interior. So they're printed out as wallpaper and also throughout the exterior of the stores across the US for a 3-month period. And this was a really interesting project for me because it was one of the first projects that I get to bring something that is very digital into a physical space. It was like kind of like making a connection between how we can make digital world and make it into like an interior experience for them. So they matched all the flowers or the decorations or the products, I think this was very exciting for me.
This is stunning.
With this piece, did they give you kind of full creative control over it, or were they kind of like nuancing, saying, hey, we might maybe want flowers, these type of things, or did they just kind of delve into that a little bit?
Yeah, it was a very collaborative process. I worked with the visual merchandising director, Justin Orford, and we've worked together before on a bunch of other window displays and themes as well. So it was very, very comfortable. We went back and forth. Justin had all these ideas. I wanted to bring them to life. And I would say that we were both on the same page in terms of what we wanted it to look like. And yeah, it was a very collaborative process for sure.
That's real cool.
Sorry,
I'm just checking out the art.
This is the portion of the show where we always end up zoning out, and it's just because we have like a little bit of music in the background. Should I play this video real quick? Is that?
Oh, if you want, it's just a video of the whole.
Yeah, I want. Definitely. So these are all like digital boards, or it's kind of like wrapped, or?
So these are pedestals, and yeah, they printed out the artwork and wrapped it all over.
Okay, and then they have the screens. I see. Okay.
They have the screens with like the animations playing.
So do they have your name in the store, like that you developed all these things, or is it kind of like if they start asking, that's how they find out about you?
No, they don't have my name in it, but it's good that they let me post it.
Right on. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah. I'm always trying to make sure the artist gets a rep all the time. You know what I'm saying? And everything they're doing,
For sure.
I think these situations are going to be more called for that too, especially with like you were saying, like the mix of digital art into it. Like, it just makes sense. It's like, I mean, especially for an artist like yourself who has a very like credible portfolio and does a lot of really awesome stuff. So it's like, it's almost like they would want to put your name, like, I think that's what's going to happen. I really do. All right. So now we get to pick one out of your portfolio. I'm kind of leaning towards this Owen and Co. That looks pretty cool. We like music. I'm going to go with this guy. Okay. Actually, you know what? You pick one, because I'm just picking ones that are like, oh, this looks cool. Is there another one that in your portfolio?
You have great stories behind.
Yeah.
If you go down a bit, there should be like one with the piano and the flowers. Yeah. Above the headphones one.
Okay. Oh, very
this
cool.
one.
This one's left hand.
So this one, I think, was one of those ones that were purely artistic, very personal. And this was a series of 3 animations that I created last year that I think was purely for myself, which is actually very rare, I think, to, spend so much time on doing something that's, doesn't have like you're not getting paid for it. You don't really see like an end goal to it. But basically the story behind this is, it tells the story of like a previous love relationship. And over the years, I feel like I've never really gotten over it. So I would write notes that I would never send. But, in like those very private moments where you're just feeling kind of sad or you kind of miss them. And I had this idea where I had all this material over the years of just like random notes that I would write down, feelings that I was experiencing. And I thought that I could create 3 animations that really expressed those feelings and maybe like have like a kind of concluding into it. So yeah, that's basically what happened. There's 3 kind of poems / short stories that I wrote in conjunction with it. I wrote the text first, and then the art was very much inspired by the text. And yeah, I would say my favorite is this last one.
Oh, we're gonna play all of them. That was my plan. Yeah, I mean, if you're okay with it, Yeah, it looks like we're starting to get some people in here. I want to say what's up to everyone. What's up, Nick? What's up, Mike? Meta Mike. Welcome to Audio Land. Sup? Yeah, you guys, if you have any, before we play these, just a quick reminder here. Don't forget, all the links that you're seeing here are in the description below. All of Jenny's information is in the description below. If you have any questions, hit us up and let us know in the chat so we can get that in here. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and play some of these. I think I'm gonna try to full screen them. So Yeah, that works.
It has sound in it, yeah.
So calming.
Yeah, wow. Like, and knowing like this after like hearing you tell the stories of like, yeah, peace, a little bit of peace. And I think like even in sorrow it feels like that felt a little that like I think you can find peace sometimes, but that's what it kind of rang true to me. That, I mean, technically like the lighting is amazing. I love that. It makes me feel like the emotion with you. I really love that. And yeah, I could think of a million questions, but I think let's get through all of them if that's
Okay.
cool. And then God, you're so talented.
Yeah, stuff is so peaceful.
Do you
I think
write
it's
the
cool.
music or do
Yeah,
you collaborate or do you just like find tracks or
Oh, I just find them. I listen to a lot of them and then I find the ones that I think most convey what I'm trying to tell.
amazing? Okay, well also, side note, we'll have to collaborate at some point. We
Yeah,
have so much music, you can listen to whatever you want. You can I know Kartik and I both
whatever you want. Yeah, whatever you
for
want
that
to
goes for
sure.
any
collaborate.
artist out there
Yeah.
too. Like we're here for everybody. Everybody who's here already knows that, but we want to make sure you know that too. But yeah, let's keep it going. Enough of our own shills. So cool. I think I had seen that one before. Uh,
Yeah.
I love your personal artwork. I totally understand what you're saying. I think a lot of art is inspired by the people and the memories and the circumstances
Hmm.
we have with people. And the
Hmm.
greatest thing about art is we take that and we're able to create something with it, and it creates a feeling for others of peace, like that those ones specifically, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's real bad. I'm always going to be a proponent of like do your own art because there's like a special energy around it.
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, I do like again hearing you. It's so special for us to be able to hear you and see you tell this story, and then like kind of watch the way that it manifested itself. Like kind of, I agree with Kartik, and so that was really cool. I really appreciate it. I love the art. I mean, I love the journey. Like seeing them all three next to each other too. You can like see these different stages of like a little bit about what you're
Hmm.
going through, but also it's like just vague enough that I can relate it to myself instead of you. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So thank you. That's really great. Well, we're gonna keep it going.
Mhm.
So Twitter is another thing that everybody here knows that we love. You can always like and retweet people, guys. Like it's so easy, and like all the links that you're seeing on the screen are in the description right below. So if you're not inspired by Jenny yet, I don't know what is going on in your brain, but get on the Twitter. You're posting here frequently. You got some cool stuff up here, and links to everything else there. So make sure that you're following Twitter. And then this is NFT Art Talk. So before we move to kind of like our last topic of the show, we wanted to just talk about your foundation real quick.
Mhm.
We did feature this on our show a couple, I think maybe 10 episodes ago or something, when we were first being introduced to you in your art. But I just thought you could take us on a tour and tell us a little bit about what you have going on in the NFT space.
Yeah, so I think I first joined Foundation. That was my first platform where I listed my artwork. And yeah, you can see it here. Um, Follow if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have it. We don't have our an NFT Art Talk Foundation, unfortunately.
I followed
we,
you though.
we would be
I
following,
followed
but
you from my account.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm also on like a few other platforms as well. And I think for Foundation, I just post a lot of things, a lot of my artwork that I think might be my other people might like. Also, some of my favorites. The first one with the mushrooms, that was one of the ones where I like had that vision while I was sleeping and then made it like the next day. I had this like idea where um mushrooms, the shape of a mushroom could act as really good umbrellas. And then so then I just blew up a bunch of really gigantic mushrooms and put some cheers underneath. So that's the story behind that piece. And
Well,
the
hold on.
person who actually,
Let's look at it real quick if we
yeah.
can, and then maybe you can talk a little bit more about it. It's just the way that you combine the music and like the grass. I mean, it's so pro. It's so encapsulating, really. Like you just it's hard to not to just it's actually, I'm remembering now, I want you to tell us more, but I think it was the one with the moon in it. Like Karthik totally, on the episode before, Karthik totally had to be like, all right, man, keep it going, Moshe, let's go. I was just zoning out. But anyways, what were you saying about the tea party?
Well, this artwork specifically, I think, kind of defined my style a lot. It's very ethereal, surreal, brings together surrealism, but also into uh, things that represent modern lifestyle, such as designer modern architecture, furniture, and nature as well. And yeah, I feel like the NFT space also is so welcoming and everybody loves connecting. And the person who bought this piece is actually like, we're just super good friends now. We chat all the time and we're going to meet up probably like within the next 2 months. So yeah, I feel like other than, being able to sell your artwork, um, a really valuable thing about NFTs is that you can actually make a lot of friends that you probably wouldn't meet before.
Yeah, go
Me
ahead.
and Moshe totally agree with that. It's like
Mhm.
it's so welcoming that there's an artist community now, and all these, because as an artist you could be everywhere in the world, and your art is your communication or your language. And now to have such a community where they want to see each other's art and not just be like try to be competitive all the time or anything like that,
Right.
it's so refreshing, really. And
For
you make
sure.
these connections, that we would have never made before.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also over something that, everyone's very passionate about.
100.
Yeah, I mean, I value that. That was the most unpredictable part of this NFT scene for me.
Mhm.
Coming into it as an artist, I did not expect to
Yeah.
make these relationships the way, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't just that I think I was joking before we got online, like I was up till 3 a.m. like on Twitter and in these spaces, but really it's just I'm like talking to new friends, you know. It's just like that was the only time of day that I actually had, and it just so happens that they're in Australia and like other countries are like, oh, it's 10 a.m. right now, let's go, I'll talk to you all night, you know.
Yeah.
But I just think like that's the part that I'm loving. That and even to what you were saying earlier on the video today, you know, it's that collaborative togetherness that we crave as creatives that we've lost partially because of the pandemic or our life circumstances or whatever, that we're finding in the NFT space. And I couldn't agree more. Like, and nothing was cooler than becoming friends with the people that were like that are collecting our stuff, and them like coming in and talking. Now I'm like talking to them all the time, and they're telling me like I'm sending them track like music before I release it to like be like, what do you think about this, like, you know, give me
Yeah,
some feedback. And it's like a whole new relationship. But yeah,
for sure.
I thought we could also, just before we go to Twitch, I thought we could maybe, if you want to talk, I know these ones, it looks like they're still for sale, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, one thing that also attracted Karthik and I is that, especially for the quality of your art, you have like, we think it's very reasonably priced, and with your experience, so we think that that's really cool. So we definitely wanted to make sure that we kind of showed these two pieces too. For anyone watching at home that's interested, you can just go to Foundation. The link's in the description below, and you too can become friends with Jenny. This is your ticket. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I know that's not what you were saying. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But you can support somebody that's doing really amazing stuff in the space, an awesome artist. And like I said, it's very affordable for what you're doing. Like you only have upward mobility. You're young and you're passionate. You know what I mean? Like this is what it's about. Sorry, I was just joking, guys. I was totally just joking. I hope I didn't make you feel uncomfortable there. Do you want to talk about any of these at all, or?
Yeah, so these, I think on my foundation, a lot of my artworks are from my earlier work that were really important for me to define my style moving forwards. And this one particularly brings together both of my passions, which is graphic design, 3D art, and also product design. I went to college majoring in product design. And and yeah, this one particular is inspired by Monet's garden in France, and it was very peaceful scene, bringing together elements from modern architecture, but also creating this life and space within nature.
Yeah, I also really like the way you're using these, like the colors that you're choosing here. I think are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're like gentle, but like I like the way that the pink it like stands out a bit, but it's just you have so many different variations of like this kind of color group. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Just so pro. You're so, it's like so clean and well thought out. Even if I don't like, how long does it take you to make these? Like, would you say? I mean, I don't know if it's easy to put a timeline on it, but
I would say now, like over the years, I've learned that the more time I spend on the smaller details, the better it would come out, the more well received it would be. And also the more I would be satisfied with it as well. So I, I would say it takes around, 2 or 3 full days to make the base of the artwork. And then I like to spend around 3 to 4 more days just really focusing in on the little details of the art. Whether that's like, adding some more nature here or some, a different color or trying different, times during the day, the lighting. There's so many things that we can adjust. So say like a week.
So do you like creating it, like you said, then like taking a moment back, kind of observing it, then coming back
Mm-hmm.
in? Like do you like that whole process basically, like kind of going in and out of it?
Yeah, I do like that process. I like just making the base idea first, adding the details, and then I'll render it out. And then after I render it out, I would write down notes or like kind of critique my own work on what I think I can improve on, make those changes, and then critique it again, write more notes. And I would probably do that around 3 or 4 times, because I feel like with every render that comes out, there's always more I feel like I could add and change and make it better. So after 3 or 4 times, I think it would get to a place where I'm happy with to share it.
That's cool. I had one other question. You said you went to design school and all that. Do you feel like that really helped your art a lot, or just kind of like brushed you up on a lot of techniques and kind of just knowledge in that area?
I think both. I went to Parsons, which is also in New York, and I feel like they taught us a lot about like art history, history of furniture, and how the art movements has progressed over the years until now, which I think is really helpful to know. As well as the professors, they had a lot of resources that basically they made me do like whatever I could. A lot of professors were like, "We know that you're artists. Everyone has a different opinion, so just like do it, and then we can talk about it," which I really loved. So I think there is definitely a benefit, but I also think that you don't have to have like a college education if you want to create art. There's so many talented people that are making amazing work out there. And I think just talking to other artists about art, I think like the most important thing is that if you're passionate, if you keep on working on it, then yeah, that's all you need.
Right. Yeah. That's cool. I didn't go to design school, so I'm always like interested, like, what is that like?
Yeah,
Just learning about all that, because I find that all fascinating, actually.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's a perfect segue, honestly, um, into kind of like what another thing that I know, Karthik and I were just like just blown away. You just
Yeah.
blow us away, honestly. But you're giving that knowledge back in your art streams Twitch, and like I know Karthik and I have checked it out a little bit, and we were hoping you could kind of tell us a little bit about what you're doing here on Twitch, what inspired you to do it, like what you're learning from it, just like kind of give us like your perspective here. Again, before we go there, I just want to remind everyone, I try to do this in between these little mini segments. All the links are in the descriptions below. So if you see anything that you like or you want to follow Jenny, all joking aside, I know I was joking about being friends. Jenny's really awesome. She's been like very accessible. She was like very willing to come here with us. It was, you were available on Twitter. Like this here is an example of that. I think that's part of what really inspires me about your art. It's not because like you are obviously like on a very professional high level of art, and like I think a lot of times people think like, oh no, an artist like you is not approachable, like you do big things, but like you're here like doing this stuff on Twitch and hitting us up, available on messages. So yeah, tell us about Twitch. Tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, so a lot of people ask me about how I actually create the work, what kind of programs I use, and how I approach the whole process of making the art, from the concept stage to actually modeling, lighting. And there's so many things that go on to making art that it's hard to explain in like a single message. So I had this idea that I could stream my art and make things in real time. So people can ask me questions while I'm making it and show them, how to use the program in a way if they want to create work like mine, or if they want to, use the tools to explore. Because when I first started learning 3D, it was really hard for me to find the resources and tutorials to watch to create the work that I want to create. So, I always think that sharing knowledge is a really good thing. I want to be able to contribute something as well, that goes beyond myself. And it makes me so happy to, when someone tells me, oh, like I'm like, this just clicked because I watched your video. And yeah, that's basically how the Twitch thing came around. And I think I've done like around 5 or 6 streams now.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, this is just like, I know this is like your promo clip we have running here We'll just play it with some audio.
Like it wasn't gonna be there
people can get,
forever
like, a
because it
little
had a
sense of,
14
like, what you're
day
doing here.
expiry, which I didn't know about. Because like there's this thing on Twitch where you just say record broadcast, and I thought it would just be there forever. So for the third one, I figured out that I actually have to like go into the screen.
Yeah, so this is what I thought was so cool about it, is it's like, you know, like I know I can probably fast forward to like more of you like actually designing on the show. But like I just thought it, when we were kind of checking out, when I was checking it out, I thought it was cool because it wasn't just like an art lesson. It was also like, how are you doing? And, you know, let's have some fun. And I'm learning, let's learn together. And, you know, I think that's the way, like you said, like college isn't, like you just said, literally college isn't necessarily for everyone. Like they're going to learn better in these environments where it can be more laid back and on their own schedule. And so I think like offering that opportunity is just, it's very inspiring. It really is. It makes me want to do the same thing for music, right? Like, because I can kind of like, I know, like, especially, you know, like I kind of look at you doing this. I'm like, okay, you're making it look very easy. It's probably take me a little bit longer to be able just to like swoop left and right. Like I've used enough design programs to like know, but like, you know, at least there's this foundation there, and like, and it makes your art more accessible, because honestly, I thought my journey, I just want to share my personal journey with your art, was, you know, when I was looking at it, I was literally thinking to myself, like before I came onto the fact that you do this Twitch channel, I'm gonna jump off of the share screen. I think we gave a good flavor there. Like at first I was like, man, this art is so amazing. I was like, I wish I could do this. I literally thought that in my head, you know, like I thought like, I wish I could, like, you know, I can do the music. I could even start with the music and then just see where it takes me, you know, and I want to be able to like be a better 3D designer, because I know that's the future. And I believe that like every artist should know how to do everything. I should know how to do 3D design. I'd love to teach you how to do music. You know what I mean? Like it's that easy for people who are experts, right? And so I was like, I wish I could do this. Then I stumbled upon your Twitch. I'm like, oh my God, she's gonna like show us how to. I'm like, I think I need to get on there. I think I've been called to your lessons.
Oh, I love it.
You got a protege now.
I would love to be your protege. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'd love to collaborate, honestly. I know Karthik would too, but we'll talk about that. We don't have to be on YouTube to talk about that. But I just think it's such a cool journey to see that. You know, that inspired us to start this show, because we wanted people to know that it was way more accessible to like get in front of people with your actual art, or like we just want to share any knowledge that we have with people and our friends in our community. And we thought like it adds this really cool part to your story, because you're an artist doing it for artists, you know.
Oh, thank you.
And so you're very inspiring, and I love your story. I'm so appreciative of you coming here on the show with us today. This has been way more than we could have ever expected from you, so thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I mean, I love what you guys are doing. I'm also very inspired by both of you. I love, you know, you made me feel so comfortable, and I love just like, you know, talking about art and music with, you know, people who are just passionate. I think that's, yeah, what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had a great time. I always tell everybody, like, yo, we're just like super artists into like super art. So like, we always love talking to artists. Like, that's like my main thing when I'm like rolling around the city or whatever. It's like, man, who's the next artist I'm gonna run to? And just get inspired, like you said, and just create community like you're doing. I think that's so powerful. Like, even with the teaching aspect of it, I know we're realizing a lot of the people in the NFT community, they're like, how are you gonna build your community? And what you're doing with that is a central aspect of it, which, you know, I think is just badass.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in our normal farewell, everyone, we're going to leave you. Everyone here on the screen is going to leave you with a pearl of wisdom. Karthik and I will kick it off so that Jenny kind of knows how, because we did not warn you about this at all. Okay. But we have to leave everyone with the closing closing statements. So I'm gonna do a little bit of promo for all the stuff we have going on, and then say some stuff. So guys, please don't forget, we really appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We appreciate everyone saying hello in the chat. That always gets us pumped up when we see that. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's the little red button down there. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're live. Don't wait for us to tell you. Then follow everyone on Twitter. All the links are in the description below. I've only said it 20 times in this on this video today. So please go follow Jenny, see what she's doing, be a part of her community, learn how to do 3D design. And also don't forget, tonight, Karthik and I are going to be hosting our music space on Twitter. So if you're here and you have a Twitter handle and you like music or you play music, come to the space. We're doing some new stuff in there to try to keep us from rugging. That's at 7:30 Central Time tonight. So I want to remind everybody about that. And then my nugget of wisdom before I pass it around the circle for that is, I think I'm going to stick with this passion. Find your passion. Find what you're passionate about. You know, don't be afraid to pursue it. Let the three of the people sitting in front of you be examples of that. Like, you literally never know what's going to happen when you try something new. So I'm feeling super passionate today too. So I'm gonna push the passion out, Karthik, and I'll pass the mic to you.
Super inspired, super passionate, and yeah, just follow Jenny. She's a great example of what you can do in this space. So I'll always throw it off to that, but like, the people are the inspiration. What you're doing is an inspiration. So just follow what she's doing. She's teaching you how to make videos. You know, like, what else can we ask from an expert in that area, really?
I guess my nugget of wisdom would be to just keep creating, take breaks, go on a walk, drink a lot of water, and yeah, keep going.
I love it. Stay hydrated. That's a good one too.
Yes.
With water. Drink water, y'all.
Very important.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, Jenny. Thank you everyone out there live in the YouTube verse for hanging out with us today. Like we said, we're here Monday through Friday, every day around 1:00 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much, and we will be seeing you guys later tonight in Twitter and tomorrow here at YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.